You are listening to Ugly Cry in the Mirror. This is your certified relationship coach, Roni Rasheedah.
And I'm the fitness and wellness whisperer, Nastasya.
Please visit our website at www.cryugly.com.
And don't forget to follow us on social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook at Ugly Cry in the Mirror, and Twitter at the letter U, the letter C in the mirror.
All right, Nastasya, we are here finally presenting our podcast to the world. And I'm super excited, but I know our audience wants to know.
Who are these girls?
Right, who are we? Who are we? You know, we're more than our memes and our Bitmojis, right?
Yeah. That was the first introduction to everyone.
Right.
Oh, these little bits of us.
Right. So, Nastasya, fitness and wellness whisperer.
Yes.
I love it.
It's interesting that choosing the whisperer versus
why the whisperer
versus a coach or a trainer.
Right.
For one, fitness has always been something that's been a part of me for the longest, as far as I can remember. I was a very active child, involved in everything, and then I was also very passionate about food. I grew a love for cooking and being in the kitchen at a young age.
Hey guys, Stassi freaking cooks like nobody's business. Nastasya, I'm sorry. Like, she cooks, like she will come into my refrigerator and find the same ingredients I've been looking at all week and make this lavish meal. But continue, please. Continue.
Oh, no.
Continue. So you've been cooking.
So I've been cooking from, like a young age, and it's kind of my getaway. Mm-hmm. So what I've done, which helps, behind the name, the Fitness and Wellness Whisperer, is crafted a lifestyle for myself where, that includes the foods that I want to eat, or the type of diet that I want to eat to live a longer life, or the lifestyle as where it is working out is concerned, what I want to do. And within doing that, I've kind of found that people gravitate towards me to look for food advice, or helping them craft their diets, or helping to motivate them about fitness. So that's kind of where it came, that little whisper on your shoulder.
No, seriously, no. But she is, right?
Like, so no, pick this, not that.
We've been pretty inseparable for about a year and a half. And when I tell you, I am so vegan-ish right now, like not vegan, I'm not vegan.
She's not vegan.
She's vegan. But I'm like ish, meaning like I can totally have and eat vegan with no problem at all, not feeling like I need meat. And we're talking, I'm a carnivore. Anybody that knows
this is coming from the girl that when I first moved here, they were like, oh, don't even think about it. Roni, she is a state girl all the way.
Yep.
And she will never stop eating meat.
Hunty. But let me tell you, I am totally comfortable in the space. That's why I say veganish. I'm comfortable in the space. It's not my lifestyle, but I'm surely comfortable. And she's been whispering, but not pushing. See, and that's
the key. That's the key, because you can't force it upon people. That's what, and that's another why I'm a whisperer. I'm just there.
It's also like the leading by example part that really kind of intrigued me, just with introducing other eating styles into my life. Mm-hmm. Just watching you lead from example, and I think our audience will have a lot to get from hearing you and just your perspective on food and fitness and wellness and things that we all can do to live longer, healthier lives and be the best versions of us.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I really do hope so. That's the goal. That's the end goal, to be able to inspire people, or be that that little nudge that's gonna push you to be like, you know what, I'm actually gonna do this, or muster up the courage to feel like, okay, I want to try this, and I'm not gonna be scared. And that's kind of why we're here, for the podcast, to be kind of a support for people and let them know that, hey, it's okay, and we're here. Mm-hmm. So that's good.
Yeah, and we have an audience full of women and some men who are seeking all kinds of fitness and wellness advice and love and relationship advice.
Mm-hmm. And this is where you come in. So Roni Rasheedah.
So, I'm Roni Rasheedah. I am, who am I? That's one of our topics in the future. Like, who am I? I'm a writer at heart. That's what I do. My words are my freedom. But I also feel like my purpose is to encourage and inspire women and girls. Mm-hmm. And that is why ultimately I'm here. I have 2 little ones, age 4 and 5, and actually 6, and a third big one who is 14. And she is a young lady, and I continue to lead by example with her. But also, I want her to see what I'm doing with this love and relationship coaching thing. So, a little background on how I became a coach. I got a divorce. My husband and I got a divorce. At that point, I just really wanted to get it right.
You're like, why did this happen?
How did I get a divorce? I was always right. Like, prior to that, I did hair, and as a stylist, you are the confidant.
I know. Yeah, I always tell people I don't do hair. I don't do hair.
No, I'm like a counselor.
I was like, I'm someone's psychologist.
Absolutely.
No offense, but seriously.
Seriously, because we allow women to feel so comfortable when they are in the chair. And for a lot of women, that is a release. And that's their free time and their kind of my self-time, me time. And so, I often found myself kind of talking about relationships and giving relationship advice. And here I was, all of a sudden divorced. And so I just kind of moved home with my parents, with the kids. And I was like, Roni, you have the opportunity to do anything in the world that you want to do. What are you going to do? So I looked at my dad and I was like, Daddy, I'm going to be a certified relationship coach. And he was like, go for it. You're going to be Iyanla? Awesome. You're going to be Iyanla Van Zandt? I was like, yeah. I could be the next Iyanla Van Zandt. I can be Roni Rasheedah. And so I took the classes. But, what really encouraged me was I just wanted to help other people get it right. Mm-hmm. I wanted to learn more. And the best way to learn is to teach. Mm-hmm. Because you have to know your stuff when you teach, Mm-hmm. You have to know your stuff. And if I could just know my stuff, maybe I too can have a phenomenal relationship.
Now fast forward to that. Once you did become a certified relationship and you did, figure out, okay, what it was, and you were able to, kind of have a better handle or perspective, I should say, on the whole situation. I did. Never in a million years, because I was here when you were like, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah. You thought you and your husband would be back together.
And we're back together. And you know what? I accept and appreciate who he actually is, not the vision and version of who he should be that I had in my head before. Mm-hmm. And becoming a relationship coach really helped me hone in on 1, getting over myself, and 2, respecting people's humanity. Mm-hmm. And so, no, I never in a million years thought that we would get back together, but we are, and we're strong. And so that's pretty much, me. That's my little spiel, my little story. So here we are now with this podcast. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy how we just kind of came up with it. I was trying to get Nastasya to train me. Nastasya, you have to train me. I will do whatever you say, coach.
No, but this is random.
It was random.
It was late. I'm at home, and Roni texts me, and she's like, I'll be your before and after, whatever you say, coach.
Because I said, I'm looking like a before picture right now.
But I didn't know what she was talking about. You just texted me that.
It was random.
I was like, what
time was it? It had to be 11.
Yeah, it was 11:45, about to be 12. And I was like, what are you talking about? At first I was like, this text isn't for me. This isn't for me because we never had a conversation prior to it.
No, we didn't. And so I'm like, listen, I'll be your before after. You'll train me. You'll, get a clientele. I'll help you market. I really need to get my relationship coaching business off the ground. We'll hold each other accountable. We need to get these followers up, and we can do a podcast.
But it was, what's funny? It was what triggered that thought. Was the conversation before about having all the talents and not really, utilizing it and setting up yourself for future.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, and so I had been thinking about that conversation, which then led me to send the text message, which then led to the whole conversation about, marketing and cross-marketing our audiences, and then the podcast. So we just started running with this podcast idea, trying to come up with names.
The name story was hilarious.
So initially, I'm like, "Oh, Nastasya, the name should be self-woke, because everyone is using woke right now."
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't know.
But I was so into it.
Right, you were so into it, and I'm like,
because people always want to talk about being woke, but they don't even know themselves, let alone, anything else to be woke about. So,
but that was
a
good
day, kind of in living in it through the day.
Yeah, but that was good because that kind of helped us really realize what we wanted the podcast to be about. So we wanted
the
it
audience,
to be about the self-woke, self-reflection,
and awareness. Yeah. So then we get to looking at podcast names online.
Oh yeah, we decided to finally sit down
and look at some names and what people are doing. And oh my goodness, these names were so dope.
And we're like, no, we have to stand out. We have to have a name where people are like, what? Who are they? Who are these people?
So out of the blue, I say, you come up with 3 names, I come up with 3 names, and we'll see what works and what kind of ideas come out of that. Yeah.
Okay.
The stuff we were coming up. I don't even remember.
They were kind of, I'm not gonna lie, they were not the best. Don't judge us.
No,
but I remember one was the elephant in the room.
That was good though.
That was a good one that triggered everything else. Yeah. And once we started talking about elephant in the room, someone already had the name. You looked it up, and we were like, well, we want to address the elephants in the room, want to address the hard topics, the topics that no one really, wants to deal with.
And then I remember I had one of those moments that I had to really deal with something, and I looked in the mirror. I was 206 pounds. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I just cried.
And then as you were telling me that story, I was like, man, I remember my ugly cry in the mirror. I was looking in the mirror just crying, crying.
And she couldn't even get it all the way out. And I was like, I think every woman has had an ugly cry in the mirror. That's it! That's the name!
But you were like, ugly cry in the mirror. No, at first you was like, ugly cry in the mirror, Stas. And I was like, yeah, I'm telling my story. I'm telling my story. And you're like, no, that's it, ugly cry in the mirror. And that's when I was oh yeah, ugly cry in the mirror. I like it.
It's so odd. But it's dope.
It's dope.
And so, audience, we're just going to look at you guys as reflections, because ultimately, truth, self-awareness, and self-reflection oftentimes warrants an ugly cry in the mirror. Nastasya, when it comes to ugly cry, what does ugly cry in the mirror mean
to me? What it really does mean to me is really that we all have these ugly cry moments. It doesn't matter who says, oh no, I don't, and that's never happened to me. We've all had the moments where we finally see ourselves in the present. It's kind of like that self-reflection of, the realization that, hey, I'm not where I want to be. This isn't who I saw 5 years ago, or even something shorter,
or had in my head
for 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up with the name, that was something that was very bright in the back of my head. Like, okay, this is why we want to do this podcast.
Yeah, and since coming up with the name, you know me, I'm so into words and meanings and things like that, and I just kind of thought about what the words mean, how do I interpret them? And the ugly cry is the reflection that you speak of. That ugly cry, I'm sorry, the mirror is the reflection. But the ugly cry is whatever ails you. You know, it is the love lost. It is, like you said, not being where you want to be. It is being wrapped up in the shoulds. I should be, I should be doing, you know, and just really ruining your present with all the shoulds. It's the tears that we should cry or we need to cry, but we don't. It's the pain that we carry with us in the name of strength. And women do that so much. Men do it too. Because it's clear, I want to be clear, men cry too. But their tears may not look like the traditional tears that we present. You know, we'll cry in front of you, snotty nose and all.
Only because society makes it out to be the women are emotional.
Right, and men are not, and that is not the truth. And so, in our community specifically, as Black women, we deal with a lot. I'm not saying other women don't, because they do in their own space, but I can't speak on that space. This is the space that I'm in. I am a Black woman. I'm raised by Black women. I'm around Black women all the time. And what I've gathered is we don't have time to have the nervous breakdown. We don't have time or energy to take the break that we may need to actually take, the mental space, you know, so that
women in general, for real.
No, seriously, like women all over the world too. And it's tough. And we don't do the ugly crying that we need to do. And if we do it, it's for a second, or someone's like, you know, let me suck this up. No. Hey, look, I fully subscribe to the I am going to release and feel my feelings. I am going to feel my feelings so that I can get through this. And
then that's the trick question. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, but I ugly cry. It's like, how long are you gonna ugly cry for? Because then it has to be a period where you're holding yourself accountable for whatever is happening.
And that is the reflection. That is the mirror. That accountability, looking back at you, is the reflection. You see, so you know, you have to take your issues and the issues you have with yourself, the issues you have with other people. You have to take them, deal with them, actually deal with them. Address them. Stop pushing things under the rug. It is okay to feel your feelings, but it is not okay to wallow in your feelings. And there's a difference between feeling your feelings and wallowing in your feelings. So for example, you're clearly not fine. But I've asked you, how are you doing? And you said you were fine.
Good.
Now, there's this thing where people have started to ask, oh, how you doing? How you do it? But they never wait for the answer. Nor do they really care, which is the unfortunate thing. So that part is part of it that really prevents people from actually saying how they're doing. Like, do you really care how I'm doing? Are you just saying how are you doing as a hello? Yeah. But hello is hello.
Hello, yeah.
You know? Hello is hello.
I know you have an issue with that. You're like, well, hello is hello. If you're saying hello, say hello.
Right, say hello.
If you want to know how I'm doing,
then ask how I'm doing and listen. And I think that's all part of it. But, you know, ugly cry in the mirror is just that.
Yeah, and I think another part of it is the reflections, as we're going to be calling them.
Hey, reflections.
is letting them know that it's okay to be, you know, where we are. You know, it's okay. Though we're not where we want to be, it's okay to be where we are, because it's in those times where we're really tested. You know, like it's in those times where you're like, man, I am like 50 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do about it? And, you know, I really have to pull myself up out of this place. And some people, without the release, like, how are you going to move on? Because like you were saying, you haven't dealt with it before. Like, for example, when I looked at that scale and I was 206 pounds, I
And you know, I don't look 206 pounds. People didn't, you know, it's surprised to folks.
No, I didn't even see it.
Yeah. But I was 206 pounds. And for me, maybe not for somebody else, but for me, that was like carrying, the equivalent of that weight was like carrying my 6-year-old around all day. He's the amount of pounds that I had gained, which is about 50 pounds. Yeah. And so I had never seen myself that size, nor did I know how to come back from that. Like, I was crying in the mirror because I was like, how did I get here? And I don't even know how to get back from here.
Yeah. And I think the key with that, what you just said, is how you saw yourself.
Yes.
You, not everyone else.
Not everyone else.
I didn't see it. You know, right. I didn't see
an ex-husband, new husband loves it.
Yeah. You know, like, no one really sees it, but, you know, that's you knowing yourself and knowing, hey, I want to be this way. Yeah. And not being ashamed of people judging you because, hey, it's your decision. And it's really and truly, it's your body, it's your life, style, and all that it is. And if that's, like, if these things are what's gonna make you happy and a better person in this world.
Yeah, so ultimately, because ultimately, I like to look at a mirror like, you ever look at a mirror like it's an alternate universe? Like, there's it on the other side of the mirror. There have been like movies and things
where
like that.
The reflection does its own thing.
Where the reflection does its own thing, right?
Definitely.
And so that reflection is all about finding the best versions of yourself, right? Because we may look at ourselves one way, but what's really looking at us is something else.
No, yeah.
Even as it pertains to like relationships, like I, in my head, was like the best wife, right? I was everything, you know. I was the best wife, you know. I did everything for my husband, raised our kids, did blah blah blah. I was the best wife. But then when I hold the mirror up, because when we got back together, everyone was like, oh, he needs to. But because I was now in possession of my own mirror, I had to say, no, I need to. There were things that I needed to work on.
That was the part.
And that was the part of me getting over myself. That was the accountability. Because we like to play the blame game and like to be the victim.
I know someone has to be
right. But in reality, it takes two people to make or break something, and I had my part in it.
I don't remember where I heard it, but it's usually, you know, it's never one person's fault.
No, and there's so many versions of the story. His side, her side, and the truth.
Exactly.
And I like to live somewhere in the truth. You know, like I really strive to live in the truth. And the truth of the matter is, the way I saw myself was not the way he saw me, and not the way I actually was. What I was somewhere in the middle between how I saw myself and how he saw me. Yeah. You know, and I've never been a woman who was even remotely interested in emasculating a man. Yeah. However, does that mean my man was never felt as if he had been emasculated by me? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to be aware.
Yeah. And I think that's aware. What this the podcast is about, you know, the awareness.
The awareness.
You know, just not, you know, we say self-awareness or self-reflection, but we are in the environment and in the space of others. So being aware of, you know, ourselves and how that interacts with, you know, the outside world and whoever we're around.
And how we affect people.
So that's pretty much it that we wanted to really touch on.
Yeah, so we look forward to, you know, bringing you more. We have some great topics coming up that we know everyone will enjoy. Please feel free to go onto our social media and place topics. I mean, if you have ideas of things you want to hear from us,
you want to hear us talk about,
you know, we will bring it to you the way we know how. Again, you know, I'm Roni Rasheedah. I am your certified relationship coach. We will be having advice write-ins, so please write in if you need some advice
as soon as you can.
as soon as you can before it gets backed up. The sooner you get in, the quicker I'll be able to respond, and you'll be on the air, or at least your story will anonymously be on the air.
We won't reveal you. Don't worry about
unless
it.
You're like, yeah, I need to be revealed.
Okay.
Because folks need to know.
And I am the fitness and wellness whisperer, Nastasya Raj. Feel free to send in any topics you guys would like to hear. We're going to be covering all across the board, from relationship to love, wellness, and fitness. That's pretty much snatching your whole life together.
Snatching it all together.
Like,
and
all
we have even people who want to come in to interview and on things that we don't necessarily specialize on, like finances and your relationship with money. Like, relationships are relationships, you know?
Yeah.
And that has to be clear. So yeah,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. See you on the other side of the mirror.